Go on. Take a look.
Hell no.
We've got the first look at ARK Lost Colony, which is the next ARK map to come out, the next ARK story map, for the first time in 2 or 3 years, which is pretty crazy considering their previous release schedule with ASE and how often story maps would have, come out back then. I think it was like every year, every 2 years at the most. But yeah, ARK Lost Colony seems to confirm our suspicions with it being very likely in ARK Prime DLC, which means that it's basically going to take place on the other side of the Earth, basically the opposite side to Sanctuary on Extinction, based on what we know about the ARK story. And in this video, I'm also going to dive into the Bob's Tall Tales and the Bob's True Tales as well, and everything that we kind of seem to gather from all of that. So stay tuned. This is pretty insane. Also, what is this? We're going to talk about all of it. Let's rewind a little bit over to Bob's Tall Tales. So we pretty much concluded with a bit of a reveal, for sure. I mean, this is kind of like a crazy reveal at the end here. First time that Bob's Tall Tales has genuinely really surprised me, which is that Mika, which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Bob's Tall Tales is basically so there's two elements to it, right? There's the ASE or the ASA expansions of Bob's Tall Tales, which include the 3 kind of packs for each of the maps, so Scorched Earth, Aberration, and Extinction. And then there's the element of the story, which is that essentially Bob here, who is, this is really taking place in the ARK 2 on Arat, which is an entirely different planet, Arat. But he's telling this story to Mika about what he did with the other survivors and their journeys and stuff on the ARKs. Now, the degree to which his stories are true is obviously very much under question, because they're tall tales. They're like fluffed up and partially made up, and so there's a lot of BS happening in these tales, especially also to make it child friendly, I guess. But we're uncovering little bits here and there about the way in which they seem to be retconning, or at least trying to tell the classic story of, Island Scorch and Aberration and Extinction, moving forward within the canon of ARK 2. So mainly nothing has been overtly, I mean, it's hard to confirm, right? Like, we have no idea, what exactly, is Bob correct that Diana and Santiago were a thing, and that it seems to be retconning Diana and Megan's relationship entirely. It's hard to say, right? But what we do know is that Mika, we can very likely take Mika's word for it, because at the end of Extinction here, she's saying, oh, I wish, if I had tech and I could, if I had powers, I could bring my mom back. And she reveals to us and to Bob, who apparently didn't know, that Diana is her mother.
Those are the kind of tough calls a chief's gotta make.
I wish you'd have been chief instead. You might have let me use tech to bring my mom back.
Aw, kid. I didn't know your mom. But your dad, I'm sure he knows what she'd have wanted.
You knew my mom, dummy. Diana.
Oh, wow.
Which is, okay, that came out of nowhere. That gives us a bunch of questions. Is Mika, when did Diana create Mika? Was this on the Genesis ship? Was this, which may honestly be it, that might be what they're shoehorning in. Is this something that happened during the tech war, before any of the ARKs happened? Or is it something that somehow happened on Aberration they're retconning in, right? We have no idea yet, but this is a pretty big reveal. And after that, we get, essentially this reveal that Mika is her goal is to find a way, no matter what, to bring Diana back. So that seems to be kind of their whole thing with ARK 2. And then it says, to be continued in Bob's True Tales. So it seems like they're going to pull on, Bob's Tall Tales overall has been very much like a Genesis Chronicles thing. But you know, it seems like they're trying to continue and explain the rest of the story of Mika, Mika's creation, Diana, and Santiago's backstory in this sense within the Genesis 1 and 2 expansions with Bob's True Tales, which is kind of a ridiculous name, but hey, let's just go with it. All right, now before we continue, I do want to address what happens actually before the whole Bob's Tall Tales thing, which is you know, the Helena Homo Deus reveal. Now, I don't want to, you know, be too overly critical here because it looks like they're actually using metahuman, but at the same time, Helena looks absolutely horrifying. And I don't know if I'm just being mean here. You guys, please let me know in the comments. But there's something very unnerving about the way that they made Helena in this cutscene relative to the actual like ARK characters. Like, she almost looks like she's AI generated or something, or like there's some kind of AI like filter placed over a metahuman, or it's just a metahuman and it just kind of doesn't quite fit in the ARK universe. I don't know. Or is it the lips? The lips are stretched. What the hair? I don't know, man. There's something here that's just like a little unnerving. But please do let me know what you guys think. She also like glitches out and like just completely disappears at the end of the cutscene. And furthermore, looks like all of the assets are actually like old ASE assets that are used. They didn't have time, I guess, to like reanimate this cutscene. So, yeah, a lot of weird stuff going on there, but we're just gonna ignore that and get back to the main topic at hand, which is after Bob's True Tales is like to be continued in Bob's True Tales. After that's revealed, we get this ARK Lost Colony. Well, it's this cutscene with Mei Yin. And she's like going crazy. She's got this massive scar on her right eye, which is pretty neat. Does she have that in the animated series? I don't quite know. You guys can correct me there. But yeah, and she has a tech spear and she's in the snow. And so I don't know what this is hinting at. There's two possibilities, and I want you guys to let me know what you think in the description. But two possibilities are either that Mei Yin is this cutscene that we see, this animated cutscene, is a glimpse at potentially the way that they're going to show Explorer notes in the Lost Colony DLC, which is then revealed right after. You know, it's this ice, and then it explodes with the logo. Either they're going to do that, and it's going to be these animated series, or sorry, animated series aside, the Explorer notes in the map itself are going to be animated cutscenes, which, if they do that, there's two routes they could go, right? Either they make these animated cutscenes fit the canon of the existing ARK game, or they kind of shoehorn them in to be animated series continuations, which would be a disservice to the entire ARK video game community and absolutely piss a lot of people off, I think. Though I don't know if everyone would necessarily even be aware of the fact that they are a continuation until the full animated series comes out. But I'm hoping that if they do go this route where the Explorer notes are in fact in Lost Colony, the Explorer notes are animated, but they're based in the ARK canon, kind of like Black Myth Wukong, the way that they handled their animated cutscenes, then I think that would be great. That'd be totally fine. But again, if they try and pull like an animated series continuation and merge it with the story, that may be pretty problematic, particularly because it's just going to confuse players and make it seem like these are like the same canon when they're very much very different. If you've seen the Island story and if you've seen the animated series, they've entirely different characters, many more characters on top of the core 4, and a lot of the 4 main characters are very different as well. So anyway, as to what Lost Colony is, it seems to be an Arat Prime related DLC that's going to take place, again, on the other side of the Earth where the Genesis ship had originally launched from, and potentially where Rockwell launched himself from onto the ship after it was far, far, far away in a galaxy far, far away. And also, my buddy Spartan pointed out that the tech on the logo looks actually kind of different. Like there might be some different tech going on here that's like more edgy. I mean, there's also like these blades with blood dripping down. So, there could be a lot going on here. But it's really cool that we finally got an actual reveal of the next DLC. The next story map. We don't really know what this is going to mean, when it's going to come out. We don't have any of those details, but it's something to speculate on, right? And, I think this, it's hard to say right now because we just have so many questions, right? But I think this sets up this seems to be setting up something that at least will be somewhat cohesive, and I'm really looking forward to if this is at least somewhat like understandable, and I'm hoping that it doesn't retcon too much, because retcons, nobody likes retcons. They suck. Also, please fix Helena. She is very scary. Like I don't think it's just me that's going to be rather unnerved by her character. And I also don't want to discourage them to use more realistic or differently designed characters, because as the characters are right now, and I'll go over this in another video, the female and male characters in ARK Survival Ascended are rather cursed in their own right. But this is kind of a different level of cursed, and I don't want to discourage it, because I'm sure, certain people at Wildcard pushed, or maybe a certain single person in particular, pushed for, metahuman and newer technologies to be used for these humans. But this ain't it, Chief. This is genuinely, the characters in Less is More, like the rotted videos, are less creepy than this one.
Marriage is slavery. I miss slavery.
And I think it might just be how much she's smiling, or just the fact that she's put in the ARK, like in the ASE cutscene, basically, because that's basically what it is. I mean, there's almost nothing changed from what I can tell from this Extinction cutscene, from like ASE to ASA. Like, in fact, I think Aberration had more of a change between the original and Survival Ascended than this one does between the two. It's hard to tell exactly, and I don't want to discount that they did change things, but yeah, there's it's a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the description or in the comments, please. What do you think about Helena Deus? What do you think about the Bob's Tall Tales conclusion? Because it is the conclusion to Bob's Tall Tales, as much as we are, eventually going to get Bob's True Tales. And what do you think about Diana? Do you think they're retconning her and Megan's relationship? How do you feel about that? Thanks for watching, and bye everyone.